Hello there, my name is Shegun Oduyebo. I'd like to share a bit with you on effective transformational parenting and leadership. It's important to note that quite a number of parents in Africa, our model of parenting have some challenge because to a great extent, a lot of parents want to hold on to power while parenting their children. And that's why for a long time, parents want to keep their control, authority on their children, even when the children had gone, even when the child had come to a point of maturity. You've got to know as a leader and as a parent that there are three stages to the development of anyone that you are leading, because as a parent, you are a leader to your child, and the ultimate aim as a parent is that that child must transform to become a matured individual, matured adult who can make meaningful contribution independently. And if you are a leader in a place of work or anywhere, you've got to also know that when you are leading people, you are not supposed to be an everlasting leader. You are not supposed to lead them forever and ever. Okay, you can be leader by legacy. You can be leader by the fact that you become an household name. You've raised many people, but it shouldn't be your desire to be leader for a long time. Should never be the fact that you want to maintain the cap, the ceiling on those who are following you forever, so that they cannot have their own voice, they cannot be unique in their own way. No. So what should be the pattern? Now, psychologists have identified three levels or stages in the development of any individual. The first one is dependence. When the child or the individual is dependent on the leader, at this phase, the individual doesn't know much, doesn't understand much, and so that individual needs to be guided. And so a lot of the instruction, a lot of the direction comes from the leader. That's the same thing that we have with children. Children, when they are born, they don't know anything much. They are young, their minds are, as it were, open, they just don't know much, and parents will have to be the guide and then teaching them and leading them. And that is presuming that the parent themselves know, because sometimes some parents are actually leading children who do not know better, so they pass on their ignorance to their children. And the same thing goes for some leaders. Some leaders, they don't know much, and then they pass on their ignorance to the people they are leading, and that shouldn't be the pattern. So what should happen is that you are supposed to know as you pass on to. But let's leave that. What we're just looking at is the fact that the first stage in leadership or parenting of somebody is that point where they depend on you a lot for a lot of things, and so you have a lot of authority, maybe 100%, 90%, 99% authority over them. But as a leader, as a parent, you've got to know the essence of that power, that authority. That power is not to oppress them, is not to suppress them. That power, that authority is meant to be used to help in creating structures and disciplines that will help them to grow. Okay, it's not just for you to say, oh, I'm the leader, and then you dish out all instruction and just make them to follow you, and then you feel that you use their followership to feed your own ego. And that's what a lot of leaders do. They use the followership that they have to feed their own ego, so that they can say, oh, I'm the leader of this person is under me, and all of that. But if you're a leader that way, you are really not doing the best. And if you're a parent, some parents also, they just want to say, that's my child, that's my child, this grown up, that is my child. No, that's not the essence. The essence of your authority over anybody, either is your child or your follower or your staff at work or your junior colleague at work, is that you can use that authority to make them better people. You want to help them to transform. So you use that power to create structure around them, to create discipline around them, and then you use that power to help them to create a guide, give them direction and all of that. And you should know that that is also going to be transient. It's not supposed to be forever. You shouldn't desire to use your power, authority over people forever and ever. Now that should help you to lead them and guide them to the second stage where they are independent. Now there is a gray shade. There is a transition from being dependent to becoming independent, and so there's a phase where there will be partly dependent, partly independent. That's what I'm trying to say. And then but the ultimate is that of they come to that second stage where they are independent, where they can make up their mind, they can make their own decisions, they can do their own thing by themselves, they can run their own show, they can call their own shot without you really being there, with little or no interference. And the joy of any effective leader, any great leader, is to be able to see people that you raised become people who can own their own ground, who can do their own stuff, who can make their own decision, who have gained their own voice, who can reason in their own way and all that. And then probably what they just need from you is advice, counsel, and thereabout. And you know, this is the state that a lot of leaders and parents find very difficult, because a lot of parents really find it hard because they feel that something is demeaned in them the moment their child can now make up their mind. You know what I mean? Can now make up his or her mind. The moment your subordinate can now stand on his own, make decisions, think through, have a different opinion from yours, you automatically feel that your influence has come down, your authority has come down. And then, you know, so many leaders fight their subordinate because of that, and then many parents fight their children because of that. Oh no, don't you know I'm your father? Don't you know I'm your mother? And all that. And if you keep doing that for a 20-year-old child, I mean 20-year-old man or woman, that's unfair. You know, ideally young people, from the time they are about 14, 15, you should begin to take them towards independence. So take them towards the shade of independence. By the time they are 18, you should give them some major room to be able to make their decision. They should be relatively, not totally, but relatively independent. And after a while, depending on how they are able to use the authority and after a while, by the time they are 20 at least, you should actually make a young person become independent. They should be relatively independent to a large extent. 90%, 95% of their decisions should be owned by them. They should take ownership. They should take responsibility. Unfortunately, we have delayed maturity in the way we parent in Africa. We allowed young people to stay long. So you see a father still trying to control a 25-year-old grown-up man or grown-up woman. You still want to decide whatever he or she does. At 25, excuse me, something is wrong there. Ideally, you should have allowed them to grow out of your own influence and be themselves in such a way that you don't need to make an input into their lives. You know, they should be able to own their ground and make their own decisions by themselves. Okay, so when you do a very good job at that, at helping them to transit from dependence to independence, you would have done a good job as a father and as a mother or as a boss. Because as a boss in the place of work, you should also help people, your subordinate, your follower, to grow to that point where they can make decisions with little or no input from you. Then you help them to grow to the last phase, which is collaboration or interdependence. Now, you should actually help them to see that life doesn't revolve around them alone. While they don't need to be dependent on people, they will need input from other people, and they should be open to receive input from other people, advice from other people, support from other people. They should not feel like they're weaklings if they have to get help from other people. And all of these things just needs training. And that's why a good leader, a good father, a good leader, good parent, father or mother must be able to help those you are leading to transit to that last stage. And when a person is at that last stage, when that person knows his strength and also knows his weaknesses, then it's easier for that person to function at his best, because now he knows areas where he can be confident and say, yes, I can own my ground in this area. And then he knows areas where he can say, oh, you know what, this area is not my turf, I need support from some other people. And he can do it healthily. He can do it without losing his self-esteem, without losing his pride, and becoming his best. Guess what? I see you raise great leaders from among your followers. I see you raise children who become matured adults who make meaningful contribution to their world. Till I come your way again, this is Fulfillment Inspiration. My name remains Shegun Oduyebo. God bless you.